Welcome to Journeys of Empowerment. I'm Michiel Sujit-Reit. Around here, we slow down. Through honest conversations with aspiring, impact-driven female founders, we sit with the turning points, the inner shifts, the quiet recalibrations behind every chapter that's actually changing. If what used to feel like ambition is starting to feel like a little noise, and what feels like alignment is asking for more space, these stories will meet you there. Clarity isn't found alone. It begins within and moves outward, one real conversation at a time. Let's step into this together. What if the signals your body keeps sending you aren't interruptions, but invitations you've been taught to ignore? In this episode, I sat down with Sharon Asscher, founder of Voeding maakt, and someone who has turned years of living in a body that felt unsafe into a path of deep listening and reconnection. We explored what it means to grow up, pushing through pain, and how that shapes the way you relate to yourself. The long road from chronic illness into awareness, and the shift from fighting symptoms to understanding them. We spoke about creating inner safety, learning to feel again after years of survival, and the ongoing balance between discipline, boundaries, and self-compassion. She captured it like this. Understanding what your body is doing and what signals it gives, that is what gives me confidence. This keeps returning. Your body is not the problem. It's the messenger you were never taught to listen to. Let's walk into it. Sharon, welcome to Journeys of Empowerment.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. I feel good. Thanks.
Looking forward to this deep dive. It's a tradition to start with who do you aspire? So let's begin there. To become.
Yeah, who do I aspire to become? To be honest, I find it such a difficult question. It's really hard. I don't know anymore what I said, to be honest. What did I say?
Oh, I didn't ask.
You didn't ask me yet, right? I thought you asked me already. Like, hey, what did I say?
In our prep conversation, we focused on the central theme.
Yeah.
And we looked back, the inflection points. But deliberately, not about who do you aspire to become.
The funny thing is, always when it comes to people that I look upward to, I don't have one person. And if I like to develop myself, that's actually where I see, is also related to harmony, but then what I feel within. So I try to always achieve harmony around me, with the people, with my family, with my own kids, with my, really that. But I also I think my goal would be to really achieve harmony within. And I think that's something that I want to work towards too.
And this is very clear.
Yeah.
This is very clear.
Yeah. So the funny thing is that when it comes to, let's say, other people that you look up to, I believe always everybody has its own challenge, and there's always something going on in each person. There's no perfection. There's not something that I want to be. I want to be me because I really love my life and I love being me, but with a bit more harmony.
But or and?
And.
It's an interesting. That's an
really good
one. Interesting.
And. Yeah.
What happens in our mind when we say and or but? But all right, nice. And it's also the central theme. But before we dive into the central theme, it's interesting that you first mention, who do I aspire to become? We tend to look outward. Yeah. And we tend to look to a person we admire, or it can be a celebrity for someone. It can be a person in your close circle you look up to, and you deliberately went inward and gave an answer from within. Yeah,
I never had that. I never really had I want to be that person. When I was young, of course, you have a teenage idol, maybe. But I think since my adult life, because I know that everybody has something. That's really what I truly feel. And we have our own challenges and our own route in life. And I have mine, but I also came so far. So, I'm so proud on that route and on that journey that I don't want to lose that to become someone else. Then you have to start over again.
Well, now, if you could turn back time,
what then?
Would you love to do that? Turn back time, and then until what age, and do it over?
No.
Clear.
Yeah. No.
All right. Hey, the central theme we both agreed on, which is traveling through our deep dive into your personal journey, is reclaiming harmony through health. Now, this is of course a beautiful theme, and especially when we follow your personal journey. But let's start with an understanding, creating a common understanding. What is your interpretation about harmony?
It's a super wide interpretation. And the funny thing is, for me, harmony is that related to, connections with other people. Everything is possible to discuss and without conflict. In a way, for me, that's really like conflict. Maybe I'm also the person that doesn't really like conflict, but I like to talk about everything and feeling the possibility that everything is possible, and to be open-minded and without judgment. That, whatever there is, that you feel safe to talk about any topic, that you really feel loved so deeply. I love you as a person, and within that love, everything is possible. And we can discuss all those things. That is, for me, harmony. It's really like everything can be there. Then I feel safe. That is, for me, harmony. And this is, for example, what I find important to my kids, but it's also what I find important within my relation. Of course, we can have disagreement, and we can maybe not like each other for a day. That's all fine. But it's really about, in the end, we love each other. We can talk about everything. And that, for me, is real love, in the end. And that's what I find well with my friends. With my closest friends, we always go into depth, but from acceptance. Like, you are fine the way you are. Everything is fine. If you choose like a different lifestyle tomorrow, I would never judge you. I just want to understand why. And for me, this is like harmony.
And what happens if after the person, for instance, a good friend, and make lifestyle changes or whatever, and you still don't understand why? What then?
You know what is funny? I always understand why. And it's for me, I always want to find a reason why. And I did it so much in my life that other people always said, start stopping to understand, because it makes your life easier. If you could say, I don't understand. And understand doesn't mean I would do, it's not the same as I would do the same. Understand, like understand where somebody's coming from. Understand, I see, hey, this is what's happening. Trying to understand, the why at that moment. Maybe not long term, but sometimes you can say, I can see what you do. I understand. And so for me, it's never really about I don't understand at all. But maybe if that would be the case, I would try to go into depth to try to understand. And sometimes some people need a period of time just to be rebellious. That's also a possibility, right? And that sometimes you need as well to come, to see what you're doing, and to get like an alarm, hey, you need to do something different, but that takes time. So that's always understanding where somebody's coming from. So I don't believe like I don't understand. I just want to understand why are you doing what you're doing? That's for me more important. Without judgment.
Without judgment.
Yeah.
That's an important.
I think that's more important for me, without judgment, because I feel always within the lines if there's a judgment, yes or no. And if I feel even just a bit, I don't feel safe anymore. And that's what I have with my real close people. I feel safe because I know there's no judgment.
So safety is an important part of harmony. As is friendship, love, caring. All right. And reclaiming harmony through health. Before we dive in, what for you is health? Of course, always you have the emotional part of health. For me, that's really important, but also the physical part. And I think long term, it was really physical because of the lack
of being healthy for so long. And to reclaim health for me was understanding everything about my body that I feel that I want to feel confident about. Because insecurity about your own health, that's horrible. But if you understand what your body is doing, what kind of signals it gives, this is really for me a big help. And on the other hand, it's also a real big emotional part. And I feel like I learned so much about my physical health and how to learn what signals are and what the connections are. But now I see, I'm now 43, I can see you cannot see it separately from each other. Your body is giving just like, it tells you what's going on, and most likely it comes from the emotional part. So for me, it's understanding, that's help, both ways, emotionally and physically, what's going on, and trying to connect the dots. And I think nowadays I cannot always control my own health anymore, but that's more stress related, for example. Physical related, I'm so stable, and I never had this in my life. So it was for me a big win, and I reclaimed that. But I think the challenge always would be how to deal with stress things in life and how to resonate that on your body. But reclaiming health is understanding my body, knowing what to do, optimize my own health, and prevention is a big part of it. And tuning in is like, I like to know my levels at a certain point, just for prevention. Big answer.
I love to sometimes take a little bit more time before I ask my question, because I have tons of questions now. But you mentioned prevention, and a lot of my friends and people who know me well truly admire my strict morning routine. And so 5 o'clock, it starts with reading, then 1.5 hour, and then meditation, and I'm walking at minimum 1 hour, 15 minutes, and then some other things. And I came to find out why I love that so much and how it works, because it's a sort of preventive self-regulation. And no matter what the day brings, and of course it doesn't come from safety, so unsafety in your body and in the situation, and no matter what, the whole daily morning routine helps me to regulate my central nervous system, and the way it also sort of create more space between stimulus and response. What for you works on a daily routine before we?
I have a few routines. I also have like a morning routine, which for me is actually, that's the most important of the day, because that's actually the only moment I really have for myself, to start with myself, because the whole day is also with my work. I'm busy with other people, other energies, with my kids, with my husband, being out there for others. And to start my day with myself, I do that like not 5 a.m., but 6 a.m., 6:50. Then I created like our whole, I go upstairs, and then I have a whole room created in with yoga, but also weights. And I made a nice environment for myself. And I do this every day, 45 minutes to an hour. And this is for me is sacred. And I do like weightlifting, but I also do sometimes yoga or Pilates, and I do meditation, sometimes breathing exercise. And every day I tune in what I would like to do. But I do hold on to weightlifting, like say at least 3-4 times a week. And then on the meantime, I do Pilates. That's really one part for me. Other things I really hold on to for me is nutrition, because that's easy to control for me. That I really know, okay, this is healthy for me. I have my building blocks. And people always ask me, do you ever eat a pizza? Yeah, for sure. I can do now and then something that's maybe not perfect. But I think 85-90% for me is really that I hold on to. But also like a wine, right? So it's about balance. But in a day, like during a day that I don't find difficult to take care of, I have just really healthy meals. I don't drink soda. Those things are good for me. I have my supplement routine that I do it. I do like my lab work every 6 months. So I see, hey, what do I need? And I adjust just to know for sure, hey, my body's going well. And I think that also comes, of course, from 18 years being so ill that I would like to be a bit of control what's really going on in my body after so long of insecurity, right? So that maybe is my control freak part. That I want to know my labs, but it really helps me to tune in, and I'm so stable. So that's the funny part. So that's also like the prevention, to know, hey, how am I? What am I doing? How do I feel? So movement, and the funny thing is, this is super light version of like habits. When I was younger, I think to my 30s, I was so extreme. I could work out 2 times per day, but then like really kickboxing and all intense, really high intensity to shut off my brain. And I now know this is not healthy for me. Do I like it? Oh, yes, I love it. But I'm not doing that anymore, the high intensity part, because I know it really stressed out my nervous system and it's just like an escape. So for me, it's always good to look into what is really health, prevention, and what is the extreme. And I don't want to be the extreme person anymore. I can do that. I can be 100% of my nutrition, 100% with working out. Do that. That's not being nice for myself. I know. So I'm a bit more flexible, and that's also like, funny enough, like a health, I would say that like a change for me that's really healthy. So, but like mornings are sacred, nutrition is sacred, supplements is sacred. And yeah, I think then being nicer to myself related to those things.
How nice are you to yourself?
I'm super nice now.
For yourself? You are.
No. No, I'm quite strict for myself, and it costs me energy to let go, to be honest. So, for example, when we do with the family, we have pizza, I know that I allow it to myself, but I'm not. There's always a little voice say you're not doing it right, always. And the next day I will have a balanced day, but I don't have it as much anymore because I was not able to do that in the past. And that's the extreme part. And so being nice to myself, let's say work-wise, for example, I'm so strict. And I can be a bit more nicer. And that's why the last 6 weeks I had like one day a week I saw people, where I saw 60 people the 5 years before. So how nice am I? I'm open-minded to look to myself, say, hey, you're not so nice at the moment. And then I can adjust easily. But I always, I'm really strict. So that's the thing. I'm really strict towards myself, not to others.
Let's unpack your journey and help us understand what is the fuel of that strictness and of where does that come from. Let's go all the way back to childhood. Let's go back to help us understand where does it come from. Because your journey is quite
a journey.
Yep. And
where does it come from? Yeah, the funny thing is, like, it was not the case that my parents were super strict to me. I wanted to be good at school. I wanted to be have good grades. I wanted to do good. That was me. Maybe because I didn't, what I said before, I didn't want to draw attention. That was one thing. I didn't want to draw attention that I was the topic of maybe a fight between my parents. I was really trying to avoid the fights. But on the other hand, in school, for example, I couldn't believe that you're not doing things at school, that you want to have low grades, or like, I just wanted to do good. I really felt this inner motivation. Nobody motivated me. Nobody told me to do my homework. Nobody did that. I wanted to do that. And I wanted to do 5 sports a week. And I wanted to do so many things. I was super active. And now I'm like, what was the story I told myself to do that? And I believe if I look into that, like, I think I wanted, one hand, to be a good daughter, just to say, hey, you're doing well, you're doing good. I'm not the problem. I don't want to be the problem. Never talk about me. But on the other hand, it was difficult, never talk about me, because I was continuously busy with my kidney. That was a daily topic. I do have good days, less days. And it was very hard for me to ask for help. So I also pretended not to have pain for a long period. Or when my mom brought me to the doctor, I said, no, there's no problem. I don't have any pain. So I was also really avoidant in being the topic. And I just wanted to do perfect. I really want to do everything perfect. So I'm not the person that you're talking about. Because they never talk about when you do good things. They always talk when you do bad things. And that was for me the biggest, the biggest trigger, I think.
You mentioned in just briefly about your kidney. How severe was that?
How severe was it? What is funny is that there's a difference between your memory and what actually is the fact. And I am really good in making things nicer.
Okay, then stick to the facts.
Right
away.
Stick to the facts. No, it was horrible. Yeah, it was chronic kidney infections and bladder infections for 18 years. And I think when it came to pain, the bladder infections were doable. The kidney infections were horrible. The kidney infections sometimes made me not being able to walk, having to lay down in bed, indeed peeing blood, all those things. That was actually more, I think, in my puberty, real big thing. And like my childhood till 12, 13, I believe, 14, was just a lot of bladder infections. And it was annoying because I was not able to do anything that I would love to do. When I slept over at my grandparents' place, my parents had to pick me up at night because then the pain kicked in. And they always said, it's stress. They always was like, Sharon has stress. Or maybe that's not because they didn't know it was bladder infection. Or they gave me the diagnosis IBS. I didn't really had all the diagnosis directly that it was an infection. So that's why I had years chronic bladder infection without really knowing that it was bladder infection. And they gave me antibiotics, but just to say, hey, you have an infection, we don't know where it is. Here, antibiotics. And that happened, I think I had every month a new antibiotic cure. Sometimes 8 times per year or sometimes 12 times per year. It really, was differentiated a lot. I think, indeed, stress was a big factor. Maybe, how the atmosphere was at home, how my parents were. That really also resonated with how I felt. If you are more stressed, you feel more pain. That's also the connection. I wanted to suppress it all. Then I get headaches. Suppress my pain, then I get headaches. So all those things came up. I tried so much to suppress things, and then headaches come up. And then I had migraines suddenly. And I'm like, okay. Then I always called the Chinese medicine man to help me for my migraines. But what was really just going on, to understand
what was underneath the driver of the pain.
Now I can see, but back then we really treated the pain I had. And I did as well back then a lot with movement, but sometimes I was not able to move because of the pain. So severe. What a funny thing is, you always go up with what you can do, right? I did that. What I was able to do, I did. And if then suddenly I had to lay down, I always said, I'm not going to work or go to school when I cannot walk anymore. Well, that was really, sometimes that happens. Then I had to stay home. But if I was able to walk, even with pain, then I went to school. So, and my parents were not the person to say, you're ill, stay at home. They also had the same mentality, paracetamol, let's go, continue. So I was not really, how do you say that? Educated with learning to listen to your body. No, fuck the body. Give it something else.
Boom.
Just continue. That's also their mentality. They're really hard workers. Continue. They went without listening to their body. Just were like workers. They work so hard. So it's all denying your own body. So severe. Yes.
Yeah.
With a lot of medicine and painkillers and being able to cope with that till they found out what it was. And then it was that's why.
Till they found out what it was and what was it? And
now the funny story is that I had a real good friend back then. She unfortunately passed away when I was 21. And her father was an urologist. And I had dinner at her place when I was 18. And I just told him my complaints because she said, well, Sharon has a lot of this, this, and this. And he is like, interesting. What's going on? I have no clue. I only know that I think now and then I worked in the emergency room just because I wasn't able to walk anymore. They always send me away with antibiotics. You can see it maybe in my record because he was working in the hospital. And he said, okay, come tomorrow to the hospital and we do some checks. And then he came out of like the surgery room, whatever. It's like, whoa, this is interesting. Your kidney is working for 10% on one side.
Oh, wow.
And it's continuously, literally toxinated your body from the inside. So that's why you continue to have infections from the inside. And this is not stress. This is just malfunctioning kidney. And he said, this is not something you have from the last years. Probably you were born with it. I'm like, yes, that's why I have 18 years of this continuously infection going on. And then he said, yeah, we have to remove it. So 3 months, he gave me a drain like that comes out of your kidney. I had to walk around with that, which is hard because you're 18. And I also was really conscious about how I looked and I wanted to be pretty and my mom really loved me to do modeling jobs. I hated it. It was horrible. Back then I was like, Miss Netherlands was a thing. And I was second and I had to do like a lot of like promotion stuff. And I had this drain out of my body. That was really not nice, but okay. In the end, you deal with that. After 3 months, I had surgery. Then I had a huge scar. There goes away your whole world of how to look nice. But okay, that's now I don't mind. Back then, I really minded.
What you then thought how to look nice.
Funny. For me, it was like really a scar is ugly, right? And now I think of it, I'm like, wow, so superficial. But back then, and now I'm proud. But yeah, then they had to remove it. And that was actually, he was my savior. He really was my hero. Because if I did not had that conversation back then,
at the dinner table with
at the dinner table. And then I still remember that I graduated. So I had my diploma after 6 years that I needed to do in 6 years together with his daughter. And then you have this graduation. And I really thanked him in my speech. And he was also there. And then unfortunately, 3 years later, his daughter died. So that was, huge, intense. And now back then it's strange. Like he saved me and he lost his daughter.
That's, how do you say that? Ironic? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think. Wow. After the surgery, then can we say you were cured of the infections? No infections anymore?
No. Yes, on one hand. But I think after 3-4 months, my other kidney was like doing weird. And that I had the same complaints again, then on the other side. And that was a bit like scary. So I was again hospitalized and they didn't do like all research was going on. Lucky enough in the end, it was just kind of stress reaction of the other kidney. But it was a bit scary because then maybe, you have to have like a kidney. And I again was hospitalized and they did all research, but they could not find anything. I get again antibiotics, but at a certain point after 18 years antibiotics, not everything works anymore. So that's why I always have to have like an IV with antibiotics. And after that, my whole body was like reacting because finally there was a balance in a way. And my body was not busy with the infections anymore. Then I got like obstipation like crazy. My gut was like shouting for help.
Protesting.
Yeah, protesting, more headaches. I had eczema on one foot. And I also felt I was ill a lot, but then headaches, then like strange stuff. But then, and I gained weight. That was funny because I was always super stable. I still am, I think, since 20s, I'm always the same. And at that point I gained weight and it was like, your body has now extra energy that it always used for the kidney. And you still have your same like rituals. And it made me like 5-6 kilo that I gained weight, which made me feel very uncomfortable because I was not used to that without knowing what it was. That was a real intense phase. And I think it it took me a while to understand. And what they only gave me was medicine. Like, again, painkillers, what they give you, like all this medicine.
Symptom.
Yeah, I call it like bandages. We give the bandages. Yeah. And that was actually, for me, the real moment to start investigating about health. What is going on? What can I do? And that was also when I became so strict. Because then I was like, hey, sugar is bad for you. I cut out sugar completely. Moving is amazing. Okay, let's do moving 2-3 hours a day. Intense. Alcohol is bad. No alcohol. I was not able to drink alcohol because I became super ill. But at that point, it was also like a decision not to do it because it was unhealthy. I did so many different extreme things to find control. And in the end, that didn't help.
Before we move forward, I would love to invite you also to something you've mentioned while we were explaining reclaiming harmony through health. We're talking about the health part, but also the harmony that comes from somewhere. So you've mentioned quite some time safety and the importance of safety for you. How was it growing up, being often ill, in a family which you've of course shared already with me, with a lot of instability? Maybe share a little bit about your the upbringing and the influence, because I truly admire where you are right in this stage of your life and why you're doing what you're doing. But there's in the harmony, there's a lot to understand, to unpack from your childhood experience and growing up and having the health challenges. It's an understatement of the age, of the century. But also growing up in an unstable household. How was that?
The funny thing is that when I was super young, my parents were working crazy hard. They're super hard workers. They worked 6 days a week. My father was brought up like that. My mom as well. My father lost his father very young. He was 21. 23. I was 1 year old. And he was working so hard, like I think 14 hours a day or something. That was for him normal. Then they got me, and I had a lot of grandmothers. And a lot of grandmothers, also great-grandmothers. That's why I say a lot of grandmothers. But I knew both of my great-grandmothers. I had like an extra bonus grandmother because my grandfather was remarried. So in the end, I had 6 grandmothers.
Oh, wow.
That was a lot. So I get a lot of love. Therefore, the harmony that I felt with them was really huge. But my parents, they were super busy. My father, he loved to drink. And that was a big fight among my parents. My mother really hated that. Really hated that. Still hates it. So that never changed. Still does. And for me, it's like, that's why alcohol is a big thing. I really, I find it difficult when somebody drinks a lot and need that every day, because I know the behavior behind it. And I saw my father changing, not always towards me, but more with my mother. So with my mother, my mother said something like about the alcohol, is it not time to stop? He like exploded. And that could happen every night during dinner. And we never knew really like, does he come home? How is his, how much did he drink? And maybe already when we go home together, are they already fighting in the car? Did it start already there? Because it was like it could explode like that.
Switch.
Yeah, the switch was really crazy. And it always was about alcohol or about money. And then that was related to alcohol again, and work related. And yeah, the tension was, you could feel it. I think friends that came at my place, they knew. And they were also used to it, but that they knew. And yeah, that was, I didn't feel that safe at that moment, because you always wait like, hey, when is the bomb going off?
Unpredictability,
exploding.
Right?
Yeah, so that was always, I had to feel it. And for me, it was like, I'm the one that loves harmony. I don't know if I already loved it because I didn't have it. I don't know what's what. But I wanted to be nice because of like not being a problem for them, that it not goes about me. But I also wanted to control them. So I was always like, how are they doing? That's why I was sitting on the stairs listening to them. You know, how is the atmosphere? Oh, he's going to bed. Oh, that's good, because then there's no fight anymore. Is he at home or is he leaving? Sometimes he left. Oh, he drank and he goes, he drives. Is that safe? Is he going to stay safe? Is he not? I was always afraid that he will never come back, that he died because of an accident. There was also an extra part of that, because indeed sometimes he left or he didn't came back for a few days, or maybe after a week or the next day. I don't know. And if I look now into safety and harmony, the funny thing is, I learned that if you know as a kid, when your parents have a fight, that they also make up again, that you learn that. I never learned that. A fight was like the end of the world. Somebody leaves, and I never know if they made up again. Suddenly he just was there again, and they just had a life like that, well, was back to normal, waiting till the next happened. So that's why, you know, it's okay to have fights, but like you have to make up again and tell your kid to make it up.
Making amends, right?
Yeah. That's what I see now, but I didn't learn that.
But that's what you see now, but you didn't learn that.
No.
How did you learn that?
I still find it difficult. I'm I find conflict really difficult. But I have a husband that is so stable, like a rock. And he comes from a super lovable family that's major in harmony. He learned to discuss. And we have I think one rule, don't shout. Because when somebody shouts, my whole nerve system blocks. I cannot handle that. So that's, do I learn that? No, I think I create people around me that I can discuss with on a lovable level, a safety level. But then when there is conflict, I hate it. My whole stress system, goes off. So I don't know if you really learn it. I just know that it can be different, and I wanted to do it different for my own kids.
Yeah, different for your own kids, and create an environment and relationships with friends who respect that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, and you had 6 grandmothers.
Yeah.
And also there, you felt harmony, right?
Yeah.
How was that, 6 grandmothers? And
I was 8 years alone. So I had my first sister when I was 8 and my second when I was 10. So 8 years I was alone.
Wow.
And 8 years I was they loved me so much. And I had one I was really, she was my favorite. And that was my great-grandmother. That was the grandmother of my father. And I was, I think, all the time till I was 4 with her, till I went to school. And it's like you always feel loved, because when you are a grandmother, you don't really have to give them rules, right? And everything is fine. And they gave me money to buy things, and they gave me love and food, and everything was fine. So that was for me, I think, was a warm bath.
Yeah, one of the important things we learn in trauma, stress, healing. One of the first things Bessel van der Kolk in a live webinar said, and it made a profound impression, is who was there for you? So who was there for you in moments of stress, in moments of, a traumatizing situation, household, childhood experiences which are very bad? Who was there for you? So for you, the very first persons who were there for you were your 6 grandmothers.
Yeah. In the end, it was my grandmothers, I think, as well. Back then, the brother of my father and his wife were also really helped me. Sometimes, for example, with Christmas or with those days, there was an explosion. And they know my father, and then they took me away, and then 2 hours they brought me back. So he was able to calm down and sleep, and then they brought me back again. So there were people around that I was able to fall back on. That was, I really had that.
I have a question completely out of space. I don't know how it came in my head, but I'm going to ask, what is most challenging for you navigating through life, you being you?
Boundaries.
Mm.
Yeah, and boundaries in... friends always told me sometimes I cannot watch what you are doing to yourself, how hard you're working, how much you do for others, like hardly sleeping. You will give away everything. You want to help everybody. You like you're out there all the time. I think I have a lot of energy. I do have a lot of energy, and a lot of things motivates me to do. And so I think boundaries is feeling my own boundary to say, okay, now it's time to relax. It's that I find super hard. And I always have to hear it from somebody else. Okay, maybe, Sharon, you did enough this week. It's okay. Relax. Now it's okay. I find that hard. Because what I said, I don't really feel the pain. And also when I feel tired, I'm like, what is tired? Yeah. Then I sleep tonight, and then tomorrow there's a new day. What is tired? And sometimes I feel I have the feeling I can handle everything. And that's sometimes weird. Feels like this is crazy to say, but I'm like, no, I'm going to be 100 years old. I'm super healthy, and I can handle that. I can handle those things in life. And that's what I tell myself, and it helps me. It helps me, and that's like my coping system. But it can also be that like my husband, he thinks sometimes, what are you doing? You're working so crazy hard, and you do and this for your kids at school, and. When does it stop? Yeah, that's like difficult. So that's a bit challenging being me sometimes, finding the balance. Balance, boundaries, I think finding my balance may be better.
What is for you the best reflection? What helps you to reflect?
Listening to my body.
Mm.
My body does give signals, like tension in my neck, starting to have headaches sometimes, my belly area getting tensed. That really gives myself information. So that's when I do my mornings. I look, okay, I feel it. Okay, what can I do? And I first always think, okay, what can I do? Control it. Like, what can I do with nutrition? What can I do with those things? I'm in that. And then I'm like, okay, no, fuck it. I have to go to the sauna today. Can I clear my schedule? Oh, no, I can't. When can I do that? So that's what I need to do. And that's what I do sometimes, not often enough.
It resonates with a principle I would love to always mentioning it. It's extreme self-care without being selfish.
Yeah.
And so I hear a lot about doing.
I am a doer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it always about doing?
No, sometimes it's about not doing. I know.
Do you have a to-don't list?
I don't have that, no. I also don't have a to-do list because I know that's like making me crazy.
And you can always add more and more and more.
No, I don't have a don't list. And like the thing is, I'm open towards everything. The funny is like I'm so that's nice, and let's do that, and like adventurous, and that's who I am. And my husband, he's like, act normal.
Act normal.
Yeah, doe even normaal.
Hey, adventurous.
Yeah.
While we're unpacking who you are, what do you mean by adventurous?
For example, like when I was young, I always said I would like to travel the world, discover the world. At first, maybe it was a bit of an escape that I want to be like escape from my life in Holland. And I went to Barcelona. I lived there for 6 months. But in the end, I'm also I love to see new countries. I love to see new cities, to go out there, to explore. I had also the rule, like I traveled a lot, like between 20 and 30s. I think I see really the world. I never want to be in the same hotel. I always try to see different things, eat in different restaurants. That's my adventurous side. I'm not the adventurous type, for example, with drugs or alcohol, not at all, because that's like I was too afraid what it would do with my one kidney, so I stayed away completely from that.
No
So
casino with that in
no,
your
nothing.
body.
No, that's not for me adventurous. I'm not with unsafe or like risks, not that. But let's say I love to jump out of a plane, really like extreme stuff.
The thrill.
The thrill.
Thrill
yeah,
seeker.
I was a good thrill seeker.
Was?
Yeah, no, I would not jump out of a plane anymore because I have 2 kids. Not because I would not like it.
Yeah.
I am the person that goes to the Efteling.
What is... Well, it can be a thrill,
roller coaster,
right?
yeah.
Roller coaster. Hey, what is on your short list what you still would love to do when it comes to an adventurous thing?
No, with the extreme stuff, I've done it almost already. So between my 25, I was the person being 19, 20, called my mother saying, hey, I'm going now a parachute jumping. I have the dog in the car. When I'm not there anymore, you have to pick up the dog. She really loved me, not. That was me. So, yeah, she's like, oh my God, really do you tell me this in advance? Why? You know, these real extreme stuff. I would not do that anymore. I think right now, what is really on my bucket list is more related to traveling with my family. I would love to go to Japan. Been there multiple times, but now I want to be there with my family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love to go, let's say, South Africa, really explore with my family, with my kids, with my husband. Been there, but now I want to...
together.
Yeah, now together.
As a family.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You know, these things are really on my bucket list. Experience, like building up memories with them. But the extreme stuff I did. And funny enough, I'm so happy I did, because it gives me so much peace of mind having my own family now, that I live that, you know, and I really love it still.
Yeah, you obviously, it shows. It shows. What do you believe is the underlying drive under those extreme thrill-driven adventures?
Yeah, I think when it comes to pain, maybe, it gives me a huge escape, because I don't think anymore. In that thrill moment, my mind's off. And that was always with high-intensity sport was the same. And I have such a strong mind that it's really hard to switch off, that I was searching for those extreme stuff. And that helped me, because during like parachute jumping, you're not thinking, you know, it's like, what's in the moment?
Really in the moment.
It's in the moment.
Present.
And all those things made me to be in the moment. And I was seeking for that. I love to be that. Yeah. So that's why I like to do the extreme stuff. I also went, for example, 1 month to India to try to find the other route with meditation, also doing the extreme way, but then differently.
How did that work out?
I lost 10 kilos in a month, and I do not have a lot of kilos extra, so that was not good. I did like a course 1 week laughing, 1 week crying, 1 week silent. It's called the Mystic Rose of Osho. And yeah, that was intense. I was like 23 or 24, and it was like a movie of my life went by, and I could feel it. And I was like, wow, I thought I handled it. But at that point, it made me extreme, and I really lost a lot of weight. And it made me a bit weak. I loved the silence, though. I really was able to enjoy silence, which I was not able to enjoy before.
What do you mean by, to not make an assumption, what do you mean by silence?
Yeah, don't talk at all. Nothing. So no phones, no conversations.
For a week.
For a week. Just within yourself the whole time.
I get a stress response even thinking about it, right?
It is, because you're in your own mind. So that's
how was that
silent.
for you?
Yeah, busy, you know.
A lot of conversations.
Lots of conversations, yeah. No, I loved it, funny enough. After the week of crying, I really loved it.
But week of crying, how does that work? A week of crying?
It is like you start...
can't cry a week.
Oh, no. It's like they do like 7 days. You start, I believe, at 9 a.m. till 1. You really cry continuously. And it's hard to say, I cry now. But believe me, if you are with 20 people, they're all like crying. And you're suddenly, you are part of the energy.
Is it contagious?
Yeah, yes and no. On one hand, in the beginning, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Where am I?
A little bit awkward.
Like, we're awkward. But you already had the week of laughing with each other, which is even more awkward because you have to laugh on commando. But they really try to make you shut off your brain. With laughing, you cannot think, right? And that's like with the emotions of expression, you shut off the thinking part. And it's the same with crying. You're really within your emotions. And I just had to run the movie of my life. I went back. Funny thing, I started closely with the relationship I had that was fucked up with, like, then I went back losing my best friend that was 21. And then I went back like, ooh, that was my parents, the situation, my father, what did I find about that? You know, I went back. So this whole week, it really helped me to go more inwards what I really felt. And that was like, a lot of pain came out. And that's why I think I lost a lot of weight. And being extreme, being me, I also thought it was a good idea to do Ayurvedic detox. That was not a good idea.
Of course.
Yes.
On top of everything.
Yeah, that's also like the thing.
It sounds profound, yet also, would you decide, with the knowledge of now, would you decide to do it again?
No. What I did experience was the aftercare is horrible. Because you were peeling off your onion, right? That's what they say. Like, you really expose yourself, being super vulnerable. I was. And then I came back in normal life. My God, everything kicked in like crazy because in normal life, nothing changed. You changed. And I was so vulnerable. I was so open. I found everything difficult. So the first week, I think I'm 175. I only weigh 48 kilos back then. So that was also not healthy. And I came back and like all sounds, all like energies people had with them, everything was intense. And I would say that's not good about that. So I do believe you need aftercare. You need to know what to do when you're back. Maybe you need to take extra time to...
Before you...
Yes, before you go back. So no, but I think when I'm 1 month now without my kids, I would not be able to handle that now. But knowing what I know now probably would not, make me so wobbly afterwards anymore. But I don't feel the need now anymore.
No, but maybe then because of the fact that you don't feel the needing anymore, can you also... Well, if you look at can we talk about, is it a sort of shift you made there, or is it a sort of discovery, or what did it bring you?
I think it was good for me to look to the pain I had. It really exposed the pain, and I'm super good in stepping over things. I'm crazy good about it.
You have a high pain level, right?
I have a high pain level, but also a high tolerance level towards painful things. So if I experience shitty things, I'm able to step over it. My husband always tells me...
Sorry to interrupt, but is it step over it? What do you mean? Is it a sort of denial? It isn't there? Or what do you mean?
I would say it's up. It's I put it behind.
It's still there.
It's still there, but I put it behind. It doesn't bother me. I make myself not bothering it, like feeling bothered about it. I can do that. And probably because I did that in my youth as well, I'll go further.
Yet the body keeps a score.
Of course. So my husband always says, I find it so interesting that you just step over things. Even fights that you maybe have with people, you can step over it. And he is still busy with it. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I'm wired. And it's hard for somebody else. When I tell a story maybe about to my husband about a bad boyfriend I had, and he can hate him still. I'm like, I can see him say, hi, I'm fine. I step over it. See, so I'm not the person that I still feel it somewhere. I'm fine. So that's being me as well. So back then it really exposed the pain I had, and I felt it really truly in my body, and I was really being able to cry about it, which I also was difficult for me to cry in the past. I never cried. So I was like, I have to be mature. I have to be the wise person.
The oldest
sister. Don't show emotions. You can handle everything. I told myself, you can handle everything. That was my coping system. And like India gave me that I was able to cry. And now I can cry like this if it's not really about me, but about my kids or things that touch me emotionally. But real tough things not really makes me cry. I feel like I'm the person that is surviving then. You can really rely on me when it comes to stress. But for me, it comes afterwards. But during stress, I'm your best friend. Because I can handle it. It made me really resilient based on stress, which is also not always a good thing, but it really made me resilient.
You are resilient.
Yeah.
Your whole background is about cultivating resilience.
Yeah.
What do you want to do differently, or what do you would love to see developing differently within your children?
I would like them to feel safe. They are. So I know they are. I would like them to know that having a fight is not the end of the world. So like that for me is like harmony, but that fight is that's also safe to have a fight, to have like that you don't have to agree all the time.
No, disagreement is healthy, right?
Yeah, disagreement is healthy. Don't avoid like your own opinion to avoid like the conflict. So that's what I would like to give them. Be open, be honest about yourself, feeling safe to speak out your opinion. That's for me a real important part. Warmth, real warm bath. I hug them all the time, be with them, like really, really feel warm.
Physical touch.
Yeah. Tell them I love them, but also not only tell them, but make them feel important. But also still that they're able to find out themselves who they are. Because I know as well when you're too much giving them love, everything, they become super lazy. And they cannot handle it.
Entitled,
and they
lazy.
cannot handle life anymore. So it's always finding the balance. I'm aware of that. But I think it's, again, harmony in how I feel. It's like safety. It's feeling free to discover themselves within safety. And I think, funny enough, what is a real big theme in my life, and it always comes back in everything that I do, is freedom. Feeling free.
What do you mean by freedom?
Yeah, feeling free, because I like freedom for me is like you do not feel like change, that you feel you speak out, that you're all fine, that the way you are, that you feel safe to speak up, that you can do whatever you like to do. Like, I was the person when I between 20 and 30, like, hey, I love this weekend to go to Paris. Let's go. And I will buy tickets for my friends. We all go. I find that freedom. And I would love them to feel free to really discover what they need, what they want, what they feel like, without having to, like, really must do things. I was also strict, so I was like free in that space, but towards myself, I was so not free.
Yeah, that was my question. How free are you?
Working on it.
In this, yeah. Well, we're all work in progress, right?
Yeah. No, but for example, like sometimes I have like a big fight with time. My mom was crazy strict when it came to time. Even when I was 1 minute late, she probably would call the police and the fireplace and everything to say, are you safe? She was crazy strict. And if I was late for 2 minutes, I was not able to go away for the whole week. Really 2 minutes. This was strict. Every time when we have now an event with my family and I'm 1 or 2 minutes late, I already feel stressed. And then, yes, she's going to call me after 2 or 4 or 5 minutes. Where are you? And then my stress is to the roof. It's still there. So that's the same. I want to be good. I want to be on time. But I know, especially when you get kids and you have the baby and you're always late.
Of course.
You're always late. And that made me so stressful. That was not free. So I'm going so well on no time restrictions and say, I will be there within the hour. Don't really, not really being strict. That's also freedom for me. So you can do freedom in multiple ways. You can experience freedom. It's not always like being like a butterfly and see whatever you like, but it's also these small things.
Freedom. It's a big word.
Yeah.
It's a big word and a big concept. So, in your professional life, how did your career develop from finishing high school and...
Yeah, after high school, I decided first I wanted to travel. In the end, I started studying directly.
Yeah.
I went first to university. That was not really my thing, the whole pattern. So I went to HBO, all communications. I did, funny enough, that was like, I was like, let's do that. I didn't really know what to do yet.
No, yeah, at that age.
Yeah, it's very hard in the end. I thought maybe it's like advertising is nice. I love the strategy behind it. So I wanted to do strategy. I then did my internship. I didn't like it. Then I did go to, I was 21. I was finished with my study, 22. I went to Barcelona. There I met somebody who said, well, I have a beautiful skincare brand. It's made in Israel. It's 100% natural. I'm fine. I'm still searching for somebody who can really build a brand with me. I said, yes, of course. Why not? And then that was a big change because I wanted to travel. But then my best friend died. The daughter of my urologist.
At 21, at age 21.
And that really made my this really changed me at that point. I was like, okay, maybe I have to work now. I went back to Holland. She died. I'm like, okay, I wanted to do good. I wanted to work. I wanted to make money.
Contribute.
Yes. And then, indeed, I called this man that said, let's do this brand together. And he said, well, when can I see you? I said, tomorrow. And I went to Rotterdam. And then, I had a job. That's how it went. And I worked, that was almost my second child back then, called Jamila's Secret. And it was made in Israel, the product by, back then, she was 75, I believe, an old lady, knowing everything about herbs and oils. She has a special way to make soap and good products for the skin. Mm-hmm. And I really made that brand, worldwide. So we were in 10 countries. I was in the end, 50 countries.
Oh, wow.
So I flew around the world. I was I think 3 weeks per month I was abroad. You cannot imagine, 50 countries.
50 countries, yeah.
So I was traveling a lot. And it was really nice to do because this brand was also almost my baby. I really felt the brand because it was natural, it was pure, so it really related to me. I loved the story about it. It was a really nice, deep story. Difficult sometimes because she was a Druze, and Druze people, they live in the northern of Israel, close to the border. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they had to, she was Arabic, speaking Arabic, not really Hebrew. There was a real nice story behind it. So I went a lot to Israel, but it was sometimes as well strange because it was not safe.
Yeah.
That was also, of course, but I was okay, because I didn't feel this is a bad thing. Because at that point, I was not a problem for me not to feel safe. I was used to it. Yeah. But it was a real beautiful journey, 10 years of my life. And on this, in my weekends or in the evenings, I studied about health.
So that's what. Before we dive into health and also heading towards what you're doing right now, the why is very clear.
Yeah.
On safety and safety. How does safety feels for you? So relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay. And
my husband.
The reason why I'm
pure safety.
All right. Yeah. But the reason why I'm asking because when you grow up with a lot of uncertainty and predictability, and as I said before we start recording, your story resonates deeply, also personally. Mm-hmm. I'm now at the stage of my life, and I'm 52. Yes, listeners, I'm 52. That I'm really enjoying feeling safe. But for a long time, feeling safe felt unsafe, unfamiliar. Because of the fact that I was so used of
not feeling
growing up and living and not feeling safe, that the more unsafety there was, there's also a strategy to cope and a strategy to move forward. And the moment it became too safe, I start my self-sabotaging mechanisms starting to work overtime. Because it's too safe, and when it's becoming unsafe, and then looking for unsafety, and then doing unsafe things and unhealthy coping mechanisms. So I can imagine that for you, growing up in a lot of unpredictability, and also in your body, not being able to trust your body. How easy did it came for you to allow safety to come in your life? We can strive for something, but then we have it, and it's unfamiliar. So we're striving for something, it's unfamiliar. Then we have it. And then how did you allow that?
I think it's difficult. I think that the journey I made is like, then I chose, let's say, unsafe relationships towards male, like real relationships, not friends. Friends were safe.
No, with intimate relationships.
Yes, that was really difficult. So then I had like, not healthy relationship, but I was okay with it because it was not healthy, right? That was maybe not the good way. And I think like being in this kind of relationship for a long period, I was able to see, okay, this is not safe. I don't want this anymore. And I was continuously like tense, like really roller coaster. I had like a roller coaster phase between 20 and 30, I would say. And of course, traveling is also, it's always busy, always out there. Adventurous, that helped me to cover it up. Because that was a beautiful thing, because I didn't really have to feel. I was always out there and busy and seeing things and the adventure part.
Meeting new people.
Yeah, meeting new people, meeting in, meeting out. Like in Japan for 48 hours, and you go to Korea, then you go to China, then Singapore, and back. And then 1 week, and you go again. Other country, that was what it was. And it sounds so beautiful in the end, and it was amazing. I didn't want to miss it, but that's why I was not really, the safety. How can you feel safe? Because you're always out there. I think since I have, I'm with my husband now since I'm 31.
So around about 13 years, right?
13 years we're together. I'm 43. He makes me feel safe. He is for me like really rock solid, and he makes me feel safe. While I still can feel sometimes unsafe in certain situations. Being aware, for example, if I am in the same situation, if something happens with my parents, or I see like, this comes up, he can already see like, hey, I see you do this. Are you okay? You want to leave now? Or if I have a headache, he's like, hey, what are you not telling me? Is there something like under the surface? Do we need to talk about it? What is going on? So he really reads me, and it makes me feel safe. So, and then I feel safe, because when I'm able to speak about it, instead of like living it inside me, then I feel safe. And funny thing is, since I'm 21, I met female friends, real good friends in Barcelona, and they're still like my besties. And with them, I always had that. They made me feel safe because everything was okay. I was able to talk about everything, even shitty choices, bad boyfriends. They made me feel safe. And because in the 2030, like I traveled a lot. Every time when I went back, they were with me in my house. I had like, I call it like what's the name in English? Buurthuis. Like
clubhouse.
I had a clubhouse.
Yeah.
I had like this apartment. Everybody was welcome. It's like in weekends when I was back, they or slept over, or like I had like all drinks, and that was safe. That was really feel nice and harmonious, and we talked for hours.
And you could also be, this is what I hear underneath, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing that underneath, so please don't shoot me.
No, tell me.
What I hear is also you being you.
Yeah. They made
it's
me
not about
me.
doing.
Yeah, no.
It's about being.
Yeah.
You being you.
We were just literally in my house, sitting, drinking wine, having like bites, and talk for hours. Hours. And it was like, it was okay because they had also their stories, and it really resonated, with each other. And we were each other's like psychologists at that point. It really helped. And when I had my journey and I had like experiences or like bad experiences, I came home and it was blah, this is what happened. And I was like, I can handle it again.
Well, that's what I also, that's why why you came on my radar, is that we met only a few weeks ago at the amazing event of Kasia, Women's Health and Network, and you were moderating it wasn't a round table, but you were moderating the round table, and what I saw happening is that for you, everybody involving, everybody including, this sense of safety, also the openness. I truly admire the whole setup of the evening, but also your role in it, allowing people to, talk whatever they want to talk about and opening up. So that's and it's about health. And I learned a lot. It was an sort of, crash course on steroids.
It was quick.
About the body and everything. So what was your role there? And also you started studying health. What are you doing now?
I have my own company, Nutrition Makes You Better. Voeding maakt je beter in Dutch. And for me, nutrition is not only nutrition in what you eat, but also in who you surround yourself with, in literally the air you breathe in, but also the people you have in your life, right? Toxic people make you sick. That's also how it works. So like for me, nutrition is everything that you do. So when I see people one-on-one, they always come to me with a certain complaint. I see people one-on-one in my own practice, but I also give lectures. And in bigger companies, it could be about, let's say, mental health and how that resonates like in their daily life, for example, or literally towards their energy throughout the day to work more efficient. What can you do with nutrition and lifestyle towards longevity? Well, all those subjects I can talk about I call them like more the big five, in like the McKinsey, Deloitte, those companies. And then one-to-one, I started actually, I think I was 31. I think I did over 40 different educations.
Of course.
Yeah.
Only 40?
Yeah, only 40. Maybe we'll see. Maybe it's more. I don't know anymore. But you never know enough, right? I felt I didn't know enough. So I wanted to be perfect and to know the right. And on my sabbatical, I had a sabbatical for 6 months with my husband. We went to Ibiza.
For 6 months?
For 6 months. Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That was after I said goodbye to the skincare brands. Yeah. And then we went together. He said goodbye to his company, went together to Ibiza. Oh. And then we had time like to think about what's next in life. And I became pregnant there, actually. And for me, it's like, what can you change in a new life? When can you do that the most? And that's like creating a new life. So I did full optimization of my own health before getting pregnant, 3 months, like real top of the bill preparing. And also that you can do so much during pregnancy. So when I came back in Holland, I was like, where can I start? And I went to like midwives practices, started to give free lectures about nutrition during pregnancy, starting small. And after a few months, they paid me for it. And from then on, people wanted to have one-on-one consultations. And I did lab work and I did like all those things. And I developed towards the gut microbiome, knowing everything about the microbiome and all the different bacteria. I did more educations to go more into depth because I'm a person don't believe in one way. So
holistically, more on holistic
everything,
view,
everything. It comes up.
Yeah.
So then I started my practice, the one-on-one. did like multiple stuff with like having other therapists working with me. It's not really working because in the end, people come for me. And then they say, well, I will wait for Sharon for 3 months. I don't want to be with you. And so I tried different ways of expanding what is the best, because having my balance, because in a certain point I saw 60 people per week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And that's like what I did for 5 years in a row. And it's hard because then what I really noticed at a point was like my energy went away doing it. I loved it. Yeah. Really loved it back then.
Yeah, but it's a signal. That's a signal you have to...
Yeah, and then it was like, okay, it's my signal. Now I had to go back. So I did like for 6 weeks, I stopped it to have just 1 day a week, like seeing people that helped me a lot, to be honest, and feel a bit free. Because the funny thing is how freedom is a part of my life. I was like blocking myself, like having no space anymore, breathing space. But having my own business, again, challenged me in boundaries because I cannot say no. I want to help everybody. And I think I can handle that. So when say, oh, Sharon, I have somebody, she really is in pain. And like, oh, of course, come in my break. I will not eat today. And if Sharon, maybe at the end of the day I have time. Yeah, of course, why not? I will go home later. This is what at first. And now I'm more protective. But still I find it hard because I really want to help people. I really enjoy it. But yeah, there's always this balance, what's good for me and not always what's good for the other. And I believe in practice what you preach. So yeah, I have a really successful business because health is really important. And I see so many people need it and have questions, don't feel heard in the current health situation you are here in the Netherlands. It's difficult sometimes, the complaints you cannot really put a label on. And what's then going on, it happens a lot, and I feel like I can help them, but to a certain limit. So it's always a question of time. I have a big fight with time.
A love-hate relationship,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What then, with everything you learned, everything you went through, everything you had to cope with, what do you see as your biggest challenge now and in the future to learn?
I think, again, it comes to balance. And it's like, what is the balance? Being able to take time with my kids, for example, because I also do that, like want to spend time with them. Wednesday afternoons, like weekends are really holy. This is really holy for me. But also that I need to learn that it's okay to have, like, say, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm always there. I have a plan. This is what I'm going to do today. I'm always finding something to do. I cannot believe I will be bored. I think I didn't... 1 minute in my life, I was never bored. There's always something. Then I start a new education. Then I start to learn new things. I want to learn all the time. And for me, it's good to read a book and not do anything. I know that's good, but I find it so hard. So hard. I fall asleep.
Well, it depends. Maybe that depends on the moment that you read. So for me, in the evening, 1 page.
Yeah, I fall asleep.
I fall asleep. I'm not a hero in the evening, like reading. I'm like, but in the morning. So for a long time, it was for me the big excuse. Yeah, I don't like reading, because you do it. When can you read? You do that in the evening. And I started to flip it around and make it my morning routine. And now I'm reading, and it's not about the amount of books per year, but I'm reading 40 to 50 books a year. Yeah. And so it's also, it brings a lot.
Of course, I believe it.
For me, I can say it's a lifesaver. I
love it. I love it. During holidays, for me, I do read, and then I can read during the day. Yeah, that's for me good. And that's why holidays, I can do it. And I would like to make that a part of my life. Maybe I can expand my morning routine by waking up earlier like you do. Mm-hmm. But I know 6, 5, 15 is okay. No, I can be too strict. So for now it's 6:15.
It's okay. Oh, no, don't make me the one who.
No, you. No. Okay, not like that. So I think it's really about balance, being able to relax, to enjoy the moment instead of thinking about what next. Because I'm like this go person, doing.
Obvious. You don't have to. It's obvious.
Yeah.
While we're heading towards the end of our conversation, I would love to get in a time capsule to the, let's say, 10-year-old you, with the lived experience of now. What would you have loved to whisper in the ears of the 10-year younger you?
You're safe. You're safe. You're okay. You're safe. Everything you do is okay. Believe in yourself. Trust on yourself. You're safe. I believe in you. You can handle this. That's what I would say. I know. But it's really about safety. And it's all okay. And I did a few journeys based on my younger self. And it always comes back to my youth. That I felt so much alone. Because of the pain. When you have a lot of pain, you can only explain what you feel, but you cannot. Nobody can feel what you feel. It's really hard to say that. Also for a parent, when my son is sick, I want to have his pain, but you cannot. So I felt alone a lot, and that's I think what pain is doing. You go inwards because you feel it all the time. And I still remember, like my grandmother, sometimes I hide under the table because of a fight or something. And my grandmother, I heard her saying, Sharon is not a normal kid. She's like way older in her mind than you all think. And she feels everything. Be careful. I still remember that. I was 9, 10. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I knew back then. She's right. I understand you all. And every time you have a fight, I know. I'm tensed. And when I'm in pain, I feel everything. I'm super sensitive towards atmospheres. I'm super sensitive towards energy in rooms. I know in a room, for example, on a birthday, I know exactly like who is there and what they're talking about. And I know if she is like alone, not having a good time, I will probably take her sitting there to have a good time. I'm aware of energies in the room and like the harmony among people. I can feel it. And this is maybe how I'm wired. And that is all about wanting others to feel safe, feeling heard, feeling included. And I wanted to tell that to myself. Yeah.
You just did.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Sharon, is there something you would love to give? What do you hope for the future for humanity? It's a big question.
My God.
Yeah, I know.
Especially now this stage in life when you see like humanity. I find it hard because also for that, if you really look to what's going on now in the world, there are so many different views. And I don't believe in wrong and right. I think there's a belief in every side. And
more nuances.
Yeah. A lot of people are grieving nowadays. So that's the one thing. You all lose family. You all lose people. Hate. I think we build hate on hate on hate. I find it ugly. So I think for humanity it's more about trying to understand where people are coming from. Not only from your own point of view, which creates more hate. But if we start to learn more from each other, your point of view, what you experience, maybe you can let go then the anger nest, how do you say it, being angry, and go into the things we share. We all love somebody, we all feel love, and want to be loved. Maybe super, like, for me, love is like feeling safe, and then safety comes up. So, for me, that's what connects us. Go more into love, but I think it's also really about self-love. Like, take care of yourself first. And one of my things I have on my website, I believe when you take care of yourself properly and you are healthy and you're not feeling complaints and you dealt with your grief, we have a nicer world. So I like to keep it small, person by person, instead of a whole humanity.
Start with yourself.
Yeah, and then step by step. Yeah. But I think it's more on go inwards, see what you need to heal instead of going out there and hate other people. And from that on, I believe we can make a change. But it's small because it's person by person. But then it's more long-term and more effective instead of like, right now we are not fighting each other, but maybe in a month we do again. No, it's really from within. And if you look into yourself, you cannot harm somebody else.
That's true. Sharon, thank you very much for our conversation.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And maybe I have one question. What are the challenges and who are having the challenges when they are normally reaching out to you for help?
So what are the challenges?
Yeah. And
others have with me?
Yeah, no, the challenges within themselves.
Yeah. In my company?
Yeah, in your company.
Yeah. People come to me with multiple reasons. Today I had somebody in a burnout. I think this morning I had as well a kid having bellyache, eczema, hormone disbalance, want to get pregnant and it took a year. What's going on? Recovery after pregnancy, migraines. I always say people come to me with complaints in the gray area. There is no, there's no stamp.
No clear diagnosis.
Yeah, and if there's a diagnosis, what then?
Mm.
What does it really tell you? Or it's a medicine, that's the only way you can do, or is there something behind it? And I'm that person to tell you, hey, we're going to find out what's going on, which domino stones fell literally, and in the end, this is the problem, but here something fell already. And to become here, a lot of things we need to put back in place. And I would like you to find out what's going on to make your body understand. And from that thing, I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you so you understand if changes need to be made. Because that's the only way you're going to do it long term. Otherwise, just a week and you say, fuck it. But to make you disciplined on doing it, it's like you understand what's going on, and then we're going to make the changes. And then you're going to experience progression. And that's for life. And then I'm happy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here. Is something in this conversation met you in a quiet place, a sentence, a silence, a moment of recognition? That's not coincidence. These stories carry ripples. Pass this episode on to someone whose chapter feels like it's turning. Follow Journeys of Empowerment so the next conversation finds you when it's meant to. And if the pull toward more clarity, direction and alignment is starting to feel less like an idea and more like a calling, there's a quiet space called the Clarity Intensified track. An open door for when the timing is yours. Until next time, keep going, keep becoming you.